What is up, guys? Evanaldo here, Crypto Market Update. In the last video, last night, when things were falling off of a cliff, bleeding uncontrollably, crashing uncontrollably, I told you most likely, because we hit off of major places, that we would most likely be able to jump here. Now, there's two scenarios that normally happen. When we crash down a lot, and the first scenario is what's kind of happening now, and it generally happens in halving and post-halving years rather than bear market years. First scenario is you crash down a lot and then you jump up and you recover, which especially in post-halving years, that's where you see just insane recovery sometimes. You see it in halving years too, but post-halving years, especially for altcoins and stuff like that, you're starting to see a little bit of strength here. And the thing too is, like, as long as ETH could hold that 2830, that big area right there, you could just count this as a wick. You're still in, reverse head and shoulders area. And then, your longer term technical target here would be, it's a little subjective, but give or take, 7,000, that kind of area, high sixes. I think we're going to see a nice general upward, trajectory. And I think this post-halving year is not going to be much different than the rest. You're looking at what Trump said. He's just trying to negotiate stuff. I don't think he's that. He's not going to, for a lot of reasons, I don't think he's going to, just have the U.S. economy completely tank due to tariffs. He's trying to negotiate stuff. It's a very subject to the negotiation, I would say. And as we're seeing that, it's kind of strengthening this recovery and strengthening kind of what we see in post-halving years in the 4-year cycle continuing forward. Let's look at Bitcoin. I mean, held up incredibly well compared to alts, which is cool. You could argue, like I was talking about yesterday, I mean, this is pretty scary on the 3-week. Still has a while to confirm, so that may not be the biggest issue yet. It'll probably eventually bring us down a 3-week, bear div, or this, the next one will. But as of right now, especially in post-halving years, this green dot right here, this trigger wave, that was kind of a dud, took some time to play out. Jumped up, finally jumped up with that one. That one jumped up. If you're looking at this trajectory, guys, if you're looking at this trajectory, it depends where you want to do it. It's always a little bit subjective, but 114 to 120, probably not by mid-February, probably not in the next 2 weeks unless things get really crazy. They could. But, I would still say mid-March, early March, late March, still possible in our trajectory upward. That's what I'm kind of looking at. In terms of trading right now, little drop backward. You could look at, I'm just trying to think what you could look at. 45-minute money flow crossover to the green could be a good place to try to go long in Bitcoin. Maybe, just maybe, some situation like this, maybe a stop loss pull there. Not a terrible risk-reward ratio. By the way, if you guys want to trade, I think there's some good opportunities in the market. Check out BYDFI, 10% cash back on your first deposit. Really good opportunity there. In addition, you get 10% off your fees for life if you sign up with my link to BYDFI down below. Same thing for the 10% off fees for life if you sign up to BloFin with my link down below. And per trading volume, you could get these really cool bonuses. When does this end? February 10th this ends, so you get another week to potentially get in on those. BloFin and BYDFI are the best ones to use for non-KYC. Also, well, another one you can use, you do have the KYC for this, but it's allowed in the United States. Breakout, which is prop trading. This is really good for people who do not have a large amount to trade with, and you can get, essentially, if you can pass a evaluation, get 10% before you lose 5%, $880, you get a 100K account, you keep 90% of the profits. I think it's a really good opportunity there, especially for people who don't have a ton of capital to put it in a trading account. Links are down below for all these. If you sign up to any of these, deposit at least $100 in the exchanges or buy any of the valuation accounts on Breakout, open a support ticket with your UID or your email in the Discord, and we'll get you a free month in there. We'll get you sorted. So for the VIP Discord there, we got Nightshade K-Mac, really good thing right there. So getting back into the analysis, look, I mean, you could roll over here, go down to lower depths, But when I look at some of these candles, I don't think ETH is going to go much below here. And then when you zoom out too on ETH, I know this is not the most organized analysis. Went to ETH, Bitcoin, now back to ETH, but bear with me. It's a huge area right here, like I talked about yesterday. And if you can hold that area, that's going to be huge, massive. I mean, really a major kind of, and this is, let's see where this is like a really crazy technical, well, not that crazy, but yeah, 7,400. I think it's definitely in the cards. I think it's definitely in the cards. ETH versus Bitcoin too. You know, it's just right after like a colossal drop, ETH is now up 22% against Bitcoin essentially on the day or since the drop last night. Just insane. And that monthly could come back. I think it's the bottom. I think it's the bottom. I know I've said this up here, but it's not that much lower than, you know, look, if you converted Bitcoin to ETH there, you're down to 8%. Not the worst thing in the world. And this could easily turn around here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it can easily turn around here. That's what I'm ultimately looking at right there. Nice little trigger wave on one of those time frames, or was it three? Lower one, but still. Anyway, I think this could continue forward. Bitcoin dominance, that's kind of a blow off top maybe for Bitcoin dominance. We saw what we wanted to see. Capitulation in alts, now we could do better. AVAX, another big area bouncing off of. I may or may not have a long on this. Info is in the Discord if you guys are interested. So I think, you know, a lot of these could make a potentially nice recovery here. AVAX, just like that ETH one, you know, recovering back up to all-time highs, making new all-time highs, $200. It's possible to get a 10x with this. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's possible. Solana's held up incredibly well, getting a bounce there. You know, I think ultimately we could hope for by May maybe that 400 mark. I think it'll lag behind some of the other alts, maybe not, maybe, but I think it'll generally come up. And then your yields, like I mentioned, I think these will generally keep going down, similar to this area, maybe not that catastrophically down, but similar to that area as altcoins hopefully do really well here. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was others, which, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Huge area bouncing off of there. That's just a huge, huge area for others. And then, you know, this has been one of the best days for altcoins, 30% upward in a long, long time. So that's going to be huge. And then others versus Bitcoin, which I think is probably the best chart to look at if you're trying to, you know, map out when altcoins are going to try to do better than Bitcoin. And, you know, this low right here in November, we did make a lower low, but look at what happened. Look at what happened. Moment of truth right here. I think we will hold this area right here and continue. If we don't, that could be, you know, more scary. But, you know, look, you're still, if you converted, if you bought alts November 4th and this low, you're bouncing back. You know what I mean? You cleaned out a lot of liquidation. We cleaned out a lot of the meme coins, a lot of the nonsense here, and we're starting to come back. You know, that's kind of the important, you know, important thing here. So, yeah, and ultimately, ample div there. On Trump, I know I'm just talking about meme coins. They usually do have a resurgence. They usually do. Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but they usually do have a resurgence at some point after when it looks kind of bleak and then things turn around. Incredibly risky though, probably a terrible idea, but they usually do have a resurgence. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you guys right now. If you're interested in Discord, I'll link down below if you're interested. Any of the exchanges, a lot of really good promos that you could only get with my link. Check out the links down below, especially if you want to trade. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.